Right then, welcome back to episode 10, the first milestone of the HODLing Room, the world's greatest Bitcoin book club, turning pages in the Bitcoin revolution. How we doing, Mike?
Great, thanks. Yeah, how are you doing?
Very good. Very good indeed. So you say you just bought a Start 9?
I did, yeah. I've just done it because
What is it? Is it a node or a miner? Or
it's for a node. Well, it's just a computer technically, but it's for the node. It's
Okay.
all like comes pre-installed with the stuff that you need for running a node. But yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
because I think that's the thing. It took me a while to actually understand this. I didn't even know, like people talk about buying a Raspberry Pi and putting it on that. I'm that not techie that I didn't even know Raspberry Pi is just a computer.
Right, yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. So yeah, that's basically what it is. The Start 9 is just basically a computer that just comes plug and play. So you don't need to do any of the setting up the Raspberry Pi in the right way to be able to handle the node, basically.
And does it come with preloaded software like Knots or Core or whatever?
It's a good question. I think you have to put it on yourself. I believe, I think you have to download because it gives you the full node sort of thing. When you actually download it. I believe. Actually, I don't know.
Right.
I should probably have found this out.
So it's not. It's just a node. It's not a miner.
Yeah. There's no.
And you
mining.
can't do any other computer stuff on it. It's literally just a piece of hardware to run a node.
Again, with the Raspberry Pi, you definitely can.
Yeah.
Because it basically is just a computer. But yeah, I think.
And how much did it cost?
$600. I think with shipping, it was about $50 more. But I used Forest's 5% off affiliate link.
Yeah.
Which I should definitely try and get. So there might be an affiliate link below here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sort that out. Which will give you 5% off. So it basically was just over $600 with shipping. And that gives you lifetime support as well with
very
Starlight.
cool.
So this is really why I went with it. Is just then it means there's someone else that I can get support with because I know I'm going to do something wrong or I just will struggle with it, even following videos or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not that savvy at all with that kind of stuff.
I can usually play around with things and I can eventually get there. It will just take me longer than the average person normally, I find. But yeah,
I usually get frustrated and then give up.
Yeah.
And it may or may not just end up being chucked out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So at least I've got support from them. I'm having chat with Bitcoin Way next week. I know they're a bit pricey, but again, it's just one of those things that I think it's literally going to be a life skill. And so, and it would give me more confidence in helping other people, helping family and stuff if and whenever they get to the stage they want to do it. So
what kind of thing are you asking Bitcoin Way?
So I think their packages are basically they will help you be self-sovereign and they'll help you set up an economic node and they can do all sorts of stuff. They can do what's it called, inheritance planning and all of that sort of stuff as well. So I don't know. I'll see how the call goes. I'll just have an open mind and see what the price actually is. But yeah, I've heard packages start from about 1,500 and it's a typical bog standard package is more like $5,000 sort of thing. So
wow, expensive.
But I'm guessing it goes up even more depending on what it is that you want to do. But I think I'll just try and keep it basic. Basically, I just want to make sure I have my node set up in a way that I can, send a transaction to someone else with a node completely by myself. I want to make sure I can completely restore, my wallets and things like that. And I just think it's going to save me so much time rather than digging into Sparrow tutorials.
Yeah.
All
it's
of
an
that
essential
sort of
skill. It's like going to see a piano teacher. You get an expert lessons rather than just figuring it out for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, self-taught guitar, like I
Mm.
know I can figure it out. I know I would be able to figure it out, but it's just more. I think, especially because I've got a, the channel going as well now. It's like I just want to make sure that everything I'm doing is actually the best way,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
rather than I don't want to be saying stuff ever that is wrong and
Mm-hmm.
then impacts other people, sort of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
just feel like having that bit of support would be useful just for my own understanding and passing it on as well.
Good idea. Very good idea. And then you can tell me what you've learned for free.
Exactly. That's but I mean that is it. But then
Yeah.
that's also beneficial for me because then it will like
Mm.
because and again that's why another reason why I started the channel is like it's teaching is always the best way to learn,
Yeah.
and so it's actually helps. It's like I definitely would do that. But yeah, on the Start 9, actually, this is why I went for the Start 9, is that the Umbrel definitely does do a lot of other stuff. And so I heard, whereas I think the Start 9 is much more focused with just being a Bitcoin node,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the Umbrel has all types of other stuff. You can do like home security and I don't
Right.
know. Again,
Mm-hmm.
it's all a bit techie and stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I've never really been that interested in. But there's all sorts of other stuff you can do on it. Whereas the Start 9, I think, is much more focused on just Bitcoin
Interesting.
node. And I'm only interested in using it as a Bitcoin node. I'm
Yeah.
not really, I have no interest in the other stuff in a
And you
minute.
just leave it on 24/7?
Just leave it on 24/7. I think you just plug it into your Wi-Fi router.
Yeah.
I believe you can access it so once it's plugged in, that I could still just use my laptop, because my router is somewhere else. It's not in this room. So I
Yeah.
could still use my laptop here and access it, I think, from a
Right.
tutorial that I watched
Okay.
at some stage. But that's kind of the thing, isn't it, with watching tutorials when you don't actually have it, you don't always take it in properly because
Mm-mm.
it's not until you actually physically try and do it that you realize what the issues are or what you need to figure out.
Cool. Well,
But
keep me
yeah,
updated. We are back on the Bitcoin standard. Now, where were we up to? Chapter
we're at the
5, money and time preference. Let us discuss. Oh, we just got beneath that
this
graph,
chart
hadn't
here,
we?
isn't it? Yeah,
Do you want me to read or do you want to read this time?
I can read.
Go for it.
Right. It's important to understand that for a monetary medium to remain perfectly constant in value is not even theoretically possible or determinable. Goods and services which money purchases will change over time as new technologies introduce new goods that replace old ones, and as the conditions of supply and demand of different goods will vary over time. One of the prime functions of the monetary unit is to serve as the unit of measure for economic goods, whose value is constantly changing. It is thus not possible to satisfactorily measure the price of a monetary good precisely, although over long time horizons, studies similar to Jastrom's can be indicative of an overall trend for a money of exchange to hold its value, particularly when compared to other forms of money. Can you just explain Jastrom's
Yeah,
study
it was in
again?
the previous paragraph. He produced a systematic study of the purchasing power of gold over the longest consistent data sets, observing English data from 1560 to 1976 to analyze the change in gold's purchasing power in terms of commodities. Jastrom finds gold dropping in purchasing power during the first 140 years, but then remaining stable from 1700 to 1914, so 200 years, which is what you see in that graph just there. When Britain went off the gold standard, for more than 2 centuries during which Britain primarily used gold as money, its purchasing power remained relatively constant, as did the price of wholesale commodities. After Britain effectively went off the gold standard in the wake of World War One, the purchasing power of gold increased, as did the index of wholesale prices. So I assume that's as the fiat got debased, the purchasing power
Yeah.
of the gold
Well, they printed more,
increased.
didn't they? So that's around here, World War One. So purchasing power. Wait, that means it's decreased if it's going up. Hang on. Say that again, what you just said.
After Britain effectively went off the gold standard in the wake of World War One, the purchasing power of gold increased, as did the index of wholesale prices.
Trying to get my head around this. I thought this chart was showing that as things go up, isn't that
Yeah.
purchasing power going down, basically?
The gold purchasing power is a black line, so that's gone up, which would make sense because if gold prices is going up in terms of pound as more money is printed, and it looks like there's maybe a little bit of a delay there with that wholesale commodity index.
So basically, as it goes up, that means its purchasing power is going up.
Mm.
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Oh, I had it in my head. It was the other way around. Because wholesale commodity index.
Is that the price of goods?
So as that's going up, it means they're more expensive. That's how I'm interpreting that anyway. But yeah, I guess maybe that means gold's. Yeah, maybe that's just like gold's price, basically. So gold's price is going up, which means its purchasing power is going up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit confused by that, actually.
Crack on with your paragraph and we'll see if he explains it.
More recent data from the United States focus on the last 2 centuries, which witnessed faster economic growth than the period covered in Justrom's data. It shows that gold has even increased in value in terms of commodities whose prices rose dramatically available. It is easier to keep increasing the supply.
You missed a line there. Prices rose dramatically in
terms of US dollars. This is perfectly consistent with gold being the hardest money available. It is easier to keep increasing the supply of all commodities than gold. And so over time, all these other commodities will become relatively more abundant than gold, causing a rise in gold's purchasing power over time. So is that explaining it? It is easier to keep increasing the supply of all commodities than gold. Right, yeah. This is basic. As can be seen in figure 9, the US dollar was also gaining value against commodities whenever it was tied to gold, but lost value significantly when its connection to gold was severed, as was the case during the US Civil War and the printing of greenbacks, and in the period after 1934, devaluation of the dollar and confiscation of citizen gold.
It's almost like, let's say you've got a plane, right, which is going up into the sky. Let's say the plane is the gold standard, and you're a passenger on the plane, right, and you're the paper, right. When the paper is in the plane, when you are in the plane, right, when the Fiat is tied to the gold standard, you go up with it. But when you sever yourself from the gold standard, you jump out the plane. Right, well, you ain't gonna keep flying up into the air, are you? You start plummeting down to the floor.
Yeah,
that's the way I've seen this. You know, it's like as soon as you sever the currency from the gold standard or from the sound money, you've jumped out the plane, and sooner or later you go splat onto the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way I'm seeing it.
Good analogy, yeah. Yeah,
No,
so
it's inevitable.
Yeah, that is then.
You might think, "Yay, I'm flying! Woo! I'm flying by myself," but you know that floor is inevitable.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure out these charts, and so yeah, that one. This is just priced in dollars, so that's obviously like commodities priced in dollars. They're going up, and this is basically the same with everything today.
Well, it's the same with
gold is going down.
That's right. So it's the same with Bitcoin. Like a house price versus Bitcoin is going down.
Yeah, what was it, like 600 Bitcoin for a house in 2015, whereas now it's about 6. Something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that I assume is the same thing that's happening here with gold.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like this chart here, that's just showing the price of commodities. They're rocketing, whereas gold is stayed kind of consistent, sort of gone up and down. So the first 140 years, he said, finds gold dropping in purchasing power during the first 140 years. So so as that's going down, that means it's dropping in purchasing power.
Mm-hmm.
So that's bad for gold, basically. It's not, it wouldn't have been ideal to hold gold during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I do know the 19th century, that was overall very good for gold. So 1800 onwards, so that makes sense because that's going up. Basically, if you held gold from like 1800 to 1900, you pretty much doubled your purchasing power. So
Yeah.
Anyway, the period between 1931 and 1971 was one in which money was nominally linked to gold, but only through various government arrangements that allowed for the exchange of gold for paper money under arcane conditions. This period witnessed instability in the value of both government money and gold, along with the policy changes. For a comparison between gold and government money, it is more useful to look at the period from 1971 to the modern day, where free-floating national currencies have traded in markets with central banks tasked with guaranteeing their purchasing power. See figure 10.
Yeah. So basically, the currencies have become worth less and less since they've decoupled from gold.
It's just crazy. Like, so that's the US dollar down here.
Yeah. And that's what it was 50 years ago up top.
And it's
like, so that's like 0.053. Yeah, it's like 2%.
That lost 97% roughly of its purchasing power.
It's basically a shit coin.
Oh, there you go.
It's a shit coin that's been rug pulled. Yeah, I mean the coming off the gold standard in 71 was the rug pull. Wasn't it? I mean, it's gone pretty down 97%. Like even Trump coin has not done 97% dip
yet. But I think exactly, I think this is Rajat Soni, the Canadian guy from Maple Bitcoin. He often talks about this, on how the dollar can go down, or any currency can go down 99%, and then it can drop another 99%, and another 99%, and another 99%. I think most people and I think a lot of people with shitcoins also see charts like this and think, oh, it's down 97%. Now is a great time to buy it because look, it's right down here. It's found the floor. The only way is for it to go up.
That's right. Yeah.
No.
The floor
go down another 99%.
Yeah.
And
the
then
floor is
99%.
relative, I guess. The floor is relative to the price.
Yeah, that's it. I actually asked in a WhatsApp group with some friends that are sort of into crypto, but sort of understand Bitcoin, some of them. But I put two charts kind of similar to this. Like one was sort of showing some shitcoin where like it was, its previous all time was here and it had come back up and now it was ahead and it was sort of like hovering here sort of thing. So I showed a chart that looked like that. And then I showed a chart that kind of looked like this. And I said, which one would you, without knowing which altcoin this is, which chart would you be more interested in buying? Out of interest, like what would you think?
Well, the one that had gone back up.
Yeah. Whereas most people, pretty much all of them, had said the one that was like this. That basically it was because they were like, this. Why would you buy something that's at an all-time high? And it just showed me a really interesting aspect. And like, this is obviously why so many people don't want to buy Bitcoin, because it's like, it's almost always at an all-time high when it's in its bull phase anyway. So they're like, why would I want to buy something that is already at an all-time high? Surely it's got more room to drop. Whereas they see something like this and they think, oh, it's got all that room. It's got to get all the way back up here. I've got, it's like a 50x.
Yeah,
just to get back here, sort of thing.
Makes sense.
Whereas they don't realize there's going to be bag holders and people that are going to be selling as it pumps, which will keep the price low. And anyway, even the best performing and most stable government forms of money have witnessed their value decimated compared to gold, with their value currently running at around 2 to 3% of their value in 1971. when they were all delinked from gold. This does not represent a rise in the market value of gold, but rather a drop in the value of fiat currencies. So that's what you were saying last episode as well. With most people that you speak to, is them realizing the price of goods have not gone up. The pound has got weaker. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's almost like, let's say Bitcoin goes to 10 million quid. Okay, great if you're holding Bitcoin, but what's the price of the pound if one Bitcoin is 10 million quid?
How much do a 6-pack of eggs cost?
Exactly.
When that happens.
Yeah.
When comparing prices of goods and services to the value of the government money and gold, we find a significant rise in their prices as expressed in government money, but relative stability in their prices in gold. The price of a barrel of oil, for instance, which is one of the key commodities of modern industrial society, has been relatively constant in terms of gold since 1971, while increasing by several orders of magnitude in terms of government money. See figure 11. So yeah, oil, it's all over the place when it's in US dollars. And it's not changed at all, basically.
Yeah, in terms of gold.
And I've actually said this as well to people. It's like, I've actually got to a stage now where I try not to price anything in US dollars. So if I'm looking at anything, I don't really do it so much anymore, just because I'm like, what is the point? But like if I'm looking at the price of houses or something, I used to always would like compare it to Bitcoin or compare it to gold, or because that's a better representation over what's been happening. Gold is probably better because it has the history, whereas Bitcoin's still so new and obviously it's just going up compared to everything. So if you look at anything compared to Bitcoin, it's literally down and right.
Yeah, even like S&P 500 is down.
Yeah.
When priced in Bitcoin versus the dollar.
But even just comparing it to other asset classes rather than dollar, like so compare the S&P to gold, or compare it to the average house price or copper, like choose anything else. And like that's oil is way better comparing that than to the dollar, because you're not getting an accurate representation because everything is going up and to the right.
Yeah.
In terms of dollars. So hard money whose supply cannot be expanded easily will likely be more stable in value than easy money because its supply is largely inelastic, while societal demand for money varies little over time as time preference varies. Easy money, on the other hand, because of the ability of its producers to vary its quantity drastically, will engender widely fluctuating demand from holders as the quantity varies and its reliability as a store of value falls and rises. Relative stability of value is not just important to preserve the purchasing power of holders' savings, it is arguably more important for preserving the integrity of the monetary unit as a unit of account. When money is predictably stable in value due to the small variation in supply and demand, it can act as a reliable signal for changes in prices of other goods and services, as was the case with gold. In the case of government money, on the other hand, the money supply increases through the expansion of the supply by the central bank and commercial banks, and contracts through deflationary recessions and bankruptcies. While the demand for money can vary even more unpredictably depending on people's expectations of the value of the money and the policies of the central bank, this highly volatile combination results in government money being unpredictable in value over the long term. Central banks' mission of ensuring price stability has them constantly managing the supply of money through their various tools to ensure price stability, making many major currencies appear less volatile in the short run compared to gold. But in the long run, the constant increase in the supply of government money compared to gold's steady and slow increase makes gold's value more predictable. Sound money, chosen on a free market precisely for its likelihood to hold value over time, will naturally have a better stability than unsound money, whose use is enforced through government coercion. Had government money been a superior unit of account and store of value, it would not need government legal tender laws to enforce it, nor would governments worldwide have to confiscate large quantities of gold and continue to hold them in their central bank reserves. The fact that central banks continue to hold on to their gold and have even started increasing their reserves testifies to the confidence they have in their own currencies in the long term, and in the inescapable monetary role of gold as the value of paper currencies continues to plumb to new depths. Yeah, that's, I mean, if you read that paragraph and just replace gold with Bitcoin, like it's just kind of says it all, really, doesn't it? You know,
I mean, you've got to be, I don't want to say daft, but like if you're literally just holding fiat and that's it, it's a struggle to, you know, hold on to any kind of value.
Yeah, this is
but this is the whole education thing as well. People aren't taught this stuff, so you know, as I was saying in the last episode, people at my workplace, they are stressed about money a lot and talk about prices going up. They can't stay afloat, blah blah blah. But they have not been educated with this kind of stuff. They're almost just a little bit lost with this whole thing. Their only exposure to money and finance is you get a job, you earn, you may have, you know, a savings account with a little bit of interest, an ISA maybe, and that's it. And they're getting
a pension.
They're getting burnt now.
Yeah, the I was just about to say? I was going to say there's something to do with this chart. What was I going to say? Yeah, basically this is something. So a video that I've actually got coming up, I've just been writing the script for it, is
plug the channel, Bitcoin straight up.
But it was basically all to do with the fact that we've been led to believe that having to invest our money is normal.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, exactly like you're saying, you're just going to get killed over time.
Yeah.
Whereas there was a huge amount of time, really, although it says like first 140 years, gold's purchasing power went down. It's still not much. You know, what's that like? Where are we at here? Like about 600, maybe from like 700 down to 500. It's what, maybe 10-20% down in 140 years when people weren't living anywhere near that
in a
long.
couple of lifetimes. Yeah, in fact, I found something the other day. Wait there one sec, I've just got it on the side. I found the other day my first like building society book when I was a kid, right? So this was in the 90s.
No way.
And
that's cool.
This is what I used to like enjoy saving. And the stuff in here, it's like, you know, I'll put in £5. I'll put in £10, you know, and it's like, oh, this is 1999, right? So I would have been about 8 years old. And there's interest earned here all the time. Like, it was actually decent interest. Like, I've got 40 quid in the savings account here in the year 2000. And the next time I go in, I've got £3 interest.
What?
So it went...
How long was that? Like a year?
Yeah, so... I don't know. It's hard to figure out, but it looks like No, this is monthly interest.
You got maybe like 8% in a month.
Maybe no. This maybe in the year, but I had 40 quid, £41, and then interest earned. It went up to £44, so it's gone up like 10% in it. And then the next one, by the looks of it, is a year later. Yeah, and I had another £3 go in. So decent interest rates there, just from sitting on this little child's savings account. And then the next one, I had £111 in there, and then my interest was £5.75. So decent returns. So, yeah, this was in the 90s.
4%, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we get that anymore.
Some ISAs can do like 3 to 5% or something. Like you've got like some sort of saving thing. But they often, what I've noticed is they do it for like a year and then it goes down to like 0.5% or something the year after.
Right.
So you have to keep getting a new savings account to make it worthwhile, and obviously no one does that. But yeah, that was the point that I noticed though, is that really for before the year 1913 when the Federal Reserve came in, if you just what's that like? There's 400 years, like 300 for 350 years.
It was relatively stable, yeah.
No one needed to invest. You just saved in gold. And then you could buy the same, if not potentially more. There's patches of time, like this 100 years where you could buy more with your gold sort of thing. So there was no investing needed. And then 1913, Federal Reserve comes in, take it off the gold, introduce all these crazy stuff, like even things like stocks is not, it existed very different to what it does today.
Yeah.
And the derivatives and all of this sort of stuff. And now we're led to believe that it's normal to invest, to go and spend time and effort. So you spend your time and effort making money from your job or whatever it is that you do. And then you need to spend more time and effort figuring out what to do with your money. Otherwise, you're just getting burnt.
Well, I guess the investing side is to hedge against inflation. But if there's barely any inflation to hedge against, then you don't need to
and what manage. Is the global free market, as Jeff Booth always says.
Exactly, deflationary, yeah. So, of course.
So this is what I realise, is that buying and holding Bitcoin is not an investment. It's savings in that free market. And so over time, your purchasing power is going to increase, as it should in a free market. And I think once that penny drops for people, it just means literally every investment that you do, if it's not beating Bitcoin, then what are you doing? Just take the safest, easiest path to save your money, and that will do better than every investment, other than
because naturally
maybe Bitcoin treasuries at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, as like tech progresses, or any kind of technology or engineering, things get more streamlined, easier to do, so it will get naturally cheaper. And I still struggle to get my head around this whole free market thing, just because we've never really had one. But people will naturally compete to be cheaper, and people will flood to the cheaper service if it's as good as the previous.
Better. It needs to be cheaper and better.
Or better, yeah. Or the same, but cheaper.
It'll be both.
Yeah.
Usually that's what normally happens.
Okay.
But yeah, and then once they do that, then you have to up your game. But often you can, depending on what the actual thing is, usually if someone just makes a tweak, and this already happens today, is like when someone finds something new, everyone else realizes it and just does the same thing.
Yeah,
sort of thing. Or
it forces people to be more innovative with and more creative.
And once that's happening, it's also a snowball effect as well. And if we had been living in a free market over this time, it would be crazy to think like where we would be now, sort of thing, because by us not being in a free market, it means that everyone is trapped in this hamster wheel of going to work, getting the next paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. Whereas once people don't have the need for it, I know you spoke before about, like, was it peasants who used to just work 14 weeks of the year or something, and then they could spend the rest of the time being creative or doing whatever it is that they wanted to do.
Building cathedrals,
maybe it's art. This is why there's no good artists anymore today, sort of thing, because the artists have to fit the social media algorithms and not do what it is that they necessarily really want to. They don't have the financial means to not work for 10 years to produce a masterpiece, sort of thing.
I think that's one reason. Yeah. That's one reason. I think the culture is like degenerated a little bit as well. So we've got this kind of like absurd postmodern culture. I was looking at some video the other day of Picasso, right? And Picasso is like held up as some like genius. I was like, bro, this is shit. It was like he was just drawing like a face like this, like a child would do it, and people are like, "Wow, this is such." I'm like, bro, that is crap. Sorry, sorry, Picasso, but bro, come on, that is not good, you know. But yeah, I mean,
think
lots of modern art is just like, there was one where it was like somebody recently just sellotaped a banana to the wall, and they were like, what's worse is these kind of like these like idiots that just they're like, wow, it's so revolutionary, it's such a genius. I'm thinking, it's just a banana sellotape to a wall. Like what like what world are you living in? You're living in some crazy inverted world where what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to like wreck and subvert everything good? Like you look at a cathedral, or you look at these what is it? What's that? Is it Michelangelo, the Sistine Chapel or whatever?
Yeah.
Took like an entire, however long, like pure like beauty and perfection.
Yeah.
And then you compare, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but a banana on the wall is a banana on the wall. It's like, no, come on, there's got to be some standard here. It's such Fiat art, like
That's
like
it.
Picasso is just Fiat art. You need to write a book on Fiat art. I think it's like a banana on the wall. It's like, come on.
What is that? It's in the, what's her name? Catherine Austin Fitz one with Carlson Tucker. She was basically working with the presidential. I don't know what she did exactly, but she was something to do with Bush, I think, at the end of late 80s, and she had admitted they actually had openly said they wanted to destroy the culture.
Oh yeah,
and so that that this is it. Like that's exactly it. Like you say, it's culturally we're totally different as well. Like we've lost. Most people have lost sight with religion or faith. I would even include myself in that. And like, a lot of people have lost sight with family values or communities, and we're just becoming more and more, in things like COVID, where they just literally have ingrained people to like not see people and normalize it. And now there's so many people as well that I still know people that are like, oh, I wish we could go back to COVID. It's like, what the fuck? Seriously,
that's
man.
stupid. I think it's not just that, as you were saying, it's people. Everything has become relative now. Like we've lost touch with objectivity in general, like objective truth, objective beauty, which is what art used to be. It used to be like, how can I make this statue, this cathedral, this painting as beautiful as possible? And people like intrinsically recognize that beauty. When you get rid of that and you say, well, it's beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that's when you get like Calvin Klein having like grossly obese models, because they're like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's like, but it's not, or a banana on the wall. Yeah, this is pure art. It's not, everything has become relative, and I think it's probably to do with the money as well. It's like, well, how much is this worth? Well, it's all relative. Today it's worth £1, but tomorrow it's worth 10p. Maybe when we've lost that kind of objective standard, that gold standard of everything, it just causes pure chaos because there's no foundation to build anything on. As you said, like people have lost touch with these traditional family values. It's okay, you've got, a married husband and wife, they have kids, you got a family. That used to be the standard. Now whatever you want is equally as good. It's like, well, it's not, is it?
Yeah.
Go
and sleep around and have kids with multiple people, and
that's
it's normalized. Oh, everyone gets divorced now, so
that's empowering. But it's almost like when you lose touch of that objectivity, it leads to nihilism, because nothing's objectively true, nothing's objectively good, nothing's objectively beautiful. There's no standard at all. And then when you lose that standard, it leads to things that are just completely absurd and inverted and backwards. Because why not?
Yeah.
If there's no objective standard, why not? Why can't I identify? We're getting like off track, but why, if there's no objective standard, me being a man, why can't I identify as a carrot or whatever? Why can't I in that world? Well, in that relative world, why not? But it leads to literally, why not? Tell me why
Yeah.
in that world. Why
Got to prove why
isn't
not.
a banana sellotaped to a wall in that world? Why isn't that beautiful art? If you've not got an objective standard to compare it to, if you've not got the gold standard to compare shitty Fiat, like, why is it not? Well, in that world, whatever you want.
It's mad, isn't it?
So there's a lot of like subversion and, just for the sake of it going against the grain, I guess. But
did I tell you about the guy who delivered a shed to me about a year ago? And he told me that at his kid's school, he was like, "Oh, you never guess what they've done to their toilets." And I was thinking, "Oh, it's this whole non-binary stuff. So you've got like unisex toilets and whatever." And it was like, "Nope, they've got cat litter trays in their toilets because 2 girls at their school identify as cats."
Interesting.
I was just like, are you joking? Please tell me you're joking.
That's
Please
crazy.
Tell me you're joking.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God.
Imagine the the parent teacher meeting when that happens. It's like, right, we're going to vote to put the cat litter trays. No adult in the room go, what? Aren't we meant to be looking after these kids? No. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but if you don't do it, then you're not going to be empowering them to be whatever the frick they want to be. Like, it's just gone crazy. The world is going bananas. Anyway,
but I think it is the consequence of just losing touch with that objectivity. Everything is relative now, and it just leads to complete absurdity in the end.
Well, I think
so jumping ship to something a little bit more objective. I mean, like me and you are doing with the money. Fiat is just one aspect of that. We talk about art, we talk about all this other stuff, and people talk about Fiat food and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, well, you've got like some fake seed oil, drenched, food, Frankenfood, and you compare that to like a fresh, organic, grass-fed steak. It's like, in that relative world, oh well, whatever, eat what you want. It's like, no, one is better than the other there. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like so jump ship towards what is, it's just more stable. Like, what's the sound of money? Bitcoin. Right, well, move towards that and you'll have a more stable life. That's my view on it anyway. But it's the same with all these things. Anyway, we're ranting a little bit now. I'll just cut that whole thing out.
No, but it is very true though. But like, even just our grandparents' generation, they didn't need to. You could easily not easily, but you could get by one person working, buy a house, and support a family. My mum was one of 6, and only her dad worked. Her mum stayed at home and stuff, and it's just totally different today. You can. There's no way you could have 6 kids and one of the parents working and support. And it wasn't like he was kind of like a farmer. He didn't own a farm. He just worked on a farm. I think he just did bits and bobs. I don't think he ever really had.
Right, like
it's not like it was a massive salary or anything like that. But it's Whereas that's not possible anymore. So because of the money, fix the money, fix the world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just dreaming of what life is like as a medieval peasant. Must be good. I'm just conscious of your time. Did you say you had a call in 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Shall we we've done 45 minutes. Should we call it a day here and then, because we're on to a new chapter, should we just do
Sure,
that
yeah.
next time?
Let's start there next time. Yeah.
And call it a day here. Do you want to give your channel a shout out?
Sure. Bitcoin straight up. Go
Road
and
to
check
One
it out.
Bitcoin. Check them both out. And we'll see if this podcast survives the YouTube algorithm and censorship.
Hopefully.
Right then. See you next time, brother.
See ya.